Okay, well, really good win for our basketball team. Had a lot of respect for North Florida coming in, watching what they've been able to do in their sort of non-conference schedule so far to date. It's really alarming, and I think when we watched that first half, even for our own selves, they weren't going to miss. And you kind of hope during the course of the game that they missed a few, and they didn't in the first half. And second half, a couple adjustments. I thought Charles moving over to Beach was a big adjustment, just keeping a quicker guy on him, less of a front court guy on him. And our defense eventually, first 8 minutes, kind of took off, gave us defense to offense, gave us transition. I think we broke the game open, but really happy with our team being able to respond from a long week in Florida and then have such a very difficult opponent when we got back to be able to pull through.
Steve said you played with a chip on his shoulder today after the last couple games that he's had. How did you kind of...
We, spent a lot of time with Steve in particular, yesterday. Just his mission in life is to not foul. Because when he's on the floor, it's just a very different feeling for the other team. When he's not on the floor, it's hard for us, right now. Not fouling, playing hard without fouling, being smart, He's guarding perimeter players for the first time in his life. The guys can shoot the ball, they drive the ball, and I thought the Xavier recipe or even the Monmouth, the fouling, really he's got to be better than that. And I thought he did a nice job today. He had an offensive foul, and then he had one foul that was partly my fault in the first half, but they didn't have an answer for him, and we needed him on the floor. And I think we need Steve on the floor more and more because he's a rim protector and he gives us a presence around the basket from two-point land that we haven't had. Now, 14 made threes again, it's a problem, but I will tell you, we're playing some of the best shooting teams in the country right now. I mean, we really are. If you look at the offenses that we're playing against, they're some of the most prolific three-point shooting teams in the country. And, we got to find ways to be better at it, but we're also being tested.
What's to say about this group to bounce back and have this kind of performance?
Well, our veteran guys were good. We had good practices. We practiced extremely hard Wednesday, Thursday, and Friday. And, I think sometimes there's a hangover when you come off the holiday tournament. Not only is it the 3 games in 4 days, but it's the 18 walkthroughs, the 3 practices, the 2 flights, the amount of hours spent in film. It's a draining week. Every time we've ever come out of this game, it's always been sort of we better get started early. We got to try to get them started. And I thought, just in general, we had another great crowd. That helps. And, able to pull through. That team is going to win a ton of games. And that team's going to play for a conference championship in their mind. So to be able to beat teams like that, it's good for our team, especially with the inexperience that we have.
Only 10 turnovers today. That was an issue, obviously, in Orlando.
That's big moving forward. That we're talking about 3 things right now. Do not turn the ball over, run back on defense, and rebound the ball. And I think we checked in on most of them. But if we can get our turnovers down, our offense is going to, get better because we're still scoring the ball pretty well. But not being able to run offense and the lack of execution or silly turnovers is hard. We're turning the ball over a lot, to be honest with you right now. Inside, the ball goes into paint, and there's just, we're getting those post guys right now with some turnovers. I thought Kendall did a nice job today, though, 8 assists, 1 turnover. Turning the ball over is essential for our improvement.
The minutes weren't not as evenly distributed as they were early in the season.
They shouldn't have been. They shouldn't have been. We lost by 30 points against Xavier. There were some alarming things that stood out in that game in terms of the toughness that's required. And I think as we move through this, guys are going to keep working, and they'll keep working their way back in. Everybody's going to be needed at all times. But today's cover from a defensive perspective was really, really going to be important, that we had guys ready and locked in, able to guard. And, our young guys are going to play. They're going to keep getting better. It's early December. But I also think that right now we can't just be freelancing with lineups on the floor that aren't going to do well for long stretches.
Is Zarius getting the most minutes right now because of what he brings on the defensive side?
Zarius has more mobility from a defensive side, and also our front court picking up fouls. It's necessary, but Zarius allows Kendall to slide over and play a little smaller, and Zarius also is a better perimeter cover. But, he's not perfect either, and nor is anyone else on the team. But I think John got to keep getting better. Ryan and Sam didn't play as much today, and I think that's one of those things that they have to look at in terms of defensive improvement and being ready to go on that end and not getting scored on, not giving up buckets. But they're not the only guys. Everybody gives up baskets. But I played today who I felt, honestly, quite frankly, was going to give us the best chance of winning today. And I thought those guys got in there at times and did some good things. But that doesn't mean on Tuesday night one of those guys isn't going to play a monumental role in the game. It's just the flow of the season.
How much better do you think that's going to make this team? Especially, I remember last year you were saying you couldn't tell a guy that you couldn't take a guy out, obviously.
Oh, yeah, accountability is everything. accountability is everything. Practice accountability more so than even the games. I'm valuing right now who's getting the job done in practice as much as anything in those categories we talked about. If you're turning it over in practice, I'm not going to put you in. If you're turning it over, in practice or shoot-arounds, then I'm not going to have confidence. If you're not getting the job done on defense in practice, you can't give me confidence just to put you in a game. You just can't check in college basketball. It doesn't work that way. And when you're playing the quality of opponent that we are, we're going to be up against it, quite frankly, if we're not good. We got to improve. We've got to get better on defense. And I think as we move into Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, and depart and go to Vanderbilt, I think we'll have more guys ready to go because we are competing like that.
What are your early thoughts on that matchup coming up Wednesday? Another tough
Yeah,
game.
Vanderbilt's a terrific team, as skilled as anybody. They run tremendous offense. Coach Stallings is one of the best coaches in the country. But, they're a preseason upper echelon SEC contender. I've seen where a lot of people have put those guys in the postseason and have a chance to play in that second, third weekend and be a Final Four caliber team. I watched them very briefly while they were in Maui just because we had dead time. I watched them play against Kansas in that championship game. And I think we're playing a bona fide, legitimate contender. So go on the road, we'll test ourselves, and we'll see where we're at. I know the last time that we were on the road, so to speak, and played a really good team, it didn't go as well. So hopefully we learned our lesson in terms of what it's going to take to be able to compete with Vanderbilt on the road. And we'll see how we're going. We're playing an extremely difficult schedule. And I hope people are taking notice around the country about what we're doing because we're not playing just anybody right now. If you look at RPI and you look at strength of schedule, we did this on purpose. This was to put us in a position for down the road to be ready against the best, and I think we're really challenging ourselves. And a lot of times with some inexperienced guys who are getting exposed, and I think that's making us better.
There you go.
Good? All right, thanks.